Hello, my friends, and welcome to Italy, a place to love YouTube channel. The channel where I like to show the properties for sale in the Italian market. In each video, I select a property in a different town in one of the 20 beautiful regions of Italy. But so, in today's video, I bring you back to Abruzzo region, Chieti province, in a town called Lanciano. So Lanciano is a municipality of a tiny bit more than 30,000 inhabitants. We are around 33,000. Anyway, beautiful town, not very far from the sea, in the beautiful Abruzzo, as I said, Chieti province. And so that's where I found the property for sale today to show you. So we are in Lanciano municipality. Okay, let's go to the property here. And basically, we are talking about here they are saying flat apartment for sale in via Canaparo 58, Fossa Cesia. So Fossa Cesia is a small district part of Lanciano municipality. The asking price is 60,000 euro. And we are talking about a quite big property because it's 163 square meters. So I'd say around 1750 square feet. So we are talking about quite decent sized property. And anyway, it's not a flat, it's not an apartment, but we are talking about a semi-detached house. And this is the house for sale. So now, before I go into the property, let's do as usual our, let's say, inspection here on Google Maps to understand where the property is. And anyway, as we see, we are in Abruzzo region. We are not very far from Pescara. We are actually Lanciano, this town is just in between Pescara and Vasto. So I might say that we might reach Pescara, Pescara Airport, for example, Pescara train station, Vasto, also Ortona. This is a very interesting town. I will cover a few properties in the next coming days. It's a town on the sea. But anyway, Lanciano is a very interesting municipality because, as we see, we are very close to the seaside and properties have very reasonable prices. Then we are still surrounded by beautiful nature, beautiful woods, farming lands. So anyway, this is Lanciano here on the left with all type of services that a town over 30,000 inhabitants can offer. But the property for sale is in a small contrada, small district, but as we see anyway, inhabited, not completely countryside, isolated countryside house. But so let's zoom in till the property, simply because the seller has shown the exact location. And before I go into the ad, before I read the property, the characteristics of the property, I want to show you anyway the area where the property is. Now I'm doing a 360 degrees, simply to understand where the property is. Okay, so it's in the ad, it says Via Canaparo. So basically, the house for sale is this one here. Now, there are two adjacent properties, one on the right and one on the left. So the house is free on two sides with a little courtyard here in front of the house. Let's see if we can have a better view. Yeah, so basically, this property here, where we see the sign on the gate where it says for sale. And so I think it's a very lovely property on two floors, free on two sides anyway. And let's go back to the property. Okay, now this is my me time, my friends. If you enjoyed this type of videos, please put like, subscribe. It helps my channel to grow. Okay, then what else I can say? That if you have a question about a property in Italy, if you're interested and you want help, you can contact me privately by email. You will find the email below in the description of the video. Okay, let's go and let's read the property description before we go. We are going to see the pictures. Now, for sale in Fossa Cesia, Scorciosa Villa, Via Canaparo 58, furnished terraced house of 163 square meters cadastral, bordering on two adjacent sides, rear and side, and at the corner on the street, arranged over two floors with a fenced garden courtyard in front of the house. So we have a little green space in front of the house, as we saw before. From the street, through the exclusive external courtyard, you access the ground floor house comprising entrance hall, bathroom, kitchen, a very large double living room with a small storage room. So, ground floor, we have a hall, we have a bathroom, we have a kitchen, and we have a living room. It says double size that could be divided, for example, in dining area and living room with a small storage. Anyway, the property is big. We are talking about 163 square meters, again, 1700 square feet. An internal staircase leads to the sleeping area on the first floor, comprising two bedrooms with small Roman balconies, a window with let's say ante room and a bathroom with shower and bathtub, and through a trap door you access the overlying not habitable attic. Okay, so on the first floor we have two bedrooms with Roman balconies. Roman balconies are these small balconies. Uh, then we have a bathroom, and then we have a pre-bathroom, I guess, with a window. Then we have a trap door where you access that habitable attic that can be used just as a storage place. With an external courtyard fenced garden of approximately 40 square meters and a disused well. Possibility of a separate warehouse garage to be renovated, arranged over two floors of 45 squares cadastral in an adjacent and bordering building, asking price 60,000 euros. So now I don't understand. It's not really clear, but I guess they're asking another 60,000 for this adjacent garage with an upper floor of around 45 square meters. Not necessarily, anyway. Has to be also renovated, so I wouldn't go personally for that. Basic features: 163 square meters built, 158 the floor area, 6 rooms, 2 bathrooms, balcony, these small Roman balconies, uncovered parking space, good condition. Private or communal garden, this is a private. Let's see just the price per square meter of this property, which is very, very low. We are talking about 368 euro per square meter. But anyway, the house is a kind of a bit in need of renovation. I'd say, as usual, mainly the bathrooms are the weakest point of the weakest points of these properties. Okay, anyway, now we see here that this is the same house that we just saw before. Now I want to go back again 1 second to the property, okay, just to understand if we see any differences between the picture in the ad and this one on Google Street. If we see any discrepancies, no. Overall, anyway, here they border in yellow the limits of the property. Okay, so we have small courtyard with some fruit trees, rosemary. Anyway, enjoyable. Then, even if we are on the street, this is not really an area with a lot of traffic. You might have cars passing by time to time on a regular basis. Okay, here we have a picture of the gate in front of the house. Okay. Not very big space, but nice and cozy. And we see that also houses around have same type of structure. Anyway, two-floor houses with small courtyard. Okay, here we have a fruit tree, which it looks like a lemon tree. But anyway, let's keep going. Now it says the house is provided with gas natural heating. We have this covered porch, let's say, in front of the house, which is fine. Here we have the gas boiler that probably needs to be renovated. I will always recommend to install a new one unless it's a new gas boiler. And so here we are approaching now the property with this entrance door, which is fine. I don't see any problems. Okay, now here we are in the hall, and I guess that from this door we have small bathroom. Now I want to go back 1 second. Okay, I might guess that we have the ground floor bathroom behind this door. Here we are in the hall. Anyway, overall the house looks in a good condition. Okay, now here we are in the kitchen. Here I can tell you anyway, it says that the house is sold furnished. So for 60,000 euro, I'd say with furniture now, it's not really the best furniture I ever seen, but better than my kitchen. For example, for the house I bought, I got a much older kitchen and I kept it for now. I decided to not go for a new one. I'm still keeping the one that has been sold to me with the property. Then we have new double glazed windows, I see here. Then we have shutters. Floor tiles are fine. Anyway, it's an eating kitchen, so that means that we have enough space to have meals in this kitchen. So spacious enough. And now here we are in the most interesting part of the house because now on the right we have the entrance door. And basically the entrance door is leading to this, they in the ad they describe it as double living room. So it's like one big space divided by these two arches, this arch, sorry, with, let's say, living area and dining area. And I would keep it as it is. To be honest, I would keep partially half of the space as a nice and cozy living area, and the second part as a dining area, probably connected to the kitchen. Then we also have decent windows in the meaning that are big and bright. The property looks with a very good sun exposure. And the floor tiles, now here we might not see very well, but these used to be fancy tiles in the 80s. So they are a bit outdated, but overall they look in a good condition and I wouldn't replace. I wouldn't go for new floor tiles. Then I see radiators under the two windows where the radiators should be. Then, okay, here we are in the dining area, let's say the living room, the second part, which can be used as a dining area if you have guests. And if you notice, the ceiling has this vaulted barrel ceiling, which is also nice. You see the building itself is a kind of old building because I see very thick walls. You see by the window the concept of the houses in the 40s, 50s, and 60s when they were building in the past, when they were building with very thick walls. Anyway, we have a very spacious here dining space. Beautiful. I like that there's not too much furniture. And anyway, I would even keep this type of furniture. I don't dislike. Okay, this cabinet here, this table, these chairs don't look very bad. Here we are pointing the attention, we are focusing on the living space where we have the entrance door. I guess on the left we might have the kitchen, and on the right we might have the small bathroom on the ground floor. But anyway, here we see, I like this lovely arch here dividing the two spaces. The electrical system overall, I think, is in a good condition. I don't see it bad. Obviously, here can be furnished the property with lovely furniture, anyway, and make this space very, very nice. All right, so here we are in the living area where the television is with these bright windows. You see, they didn't even need to turn on the lights. Okay, entrance. Then we see, anyway, electrical system. We see the switches. Okay, yes, this is the small bathroom on the ground floor. Okay, now bathrooms are always the weakest point of these properties, but this one I don't see it very, very bad condition. I would just give a proper sanitizing, good cleaning, and because overall I don't see broken tiles. So this bathroom, I would judge it, let's say 50-50, 50%. Okay, then here from the living area, we have the stairs leading to the first floor. Let's investigate. Lovely and cozy stairs, not very steepy. Here we have nice hall on the first floor. Okay, then we see the trap door to access to the attic. Here you need to access with a ladder. Anyway, and anyway, it's not an habitable space. And here we have two bathrooms on this floor, two bedrooms on this floor and one bathroom. So the house is big enough. Okay, we also have vaulted ceilings here on the second floor, on the first floor. Spacious enough bedroom, spacious enough with radiators, with this French balcony. Okay. The balcony door don't look very old. Okay. Even if they're old, it depends. Should be investigated. For example, if they're double glazed windows or not. Floor tiles, nothing special. While on the ground floor were the fancy in the 80s, here we are saying not very fancy this type. They were kind of inexpensive tiles, but these are previous times. These are even 60s, early 70s, late 60s tiles. But in many houses, people are keeping this type of tiles. The balcony doors don't look very outdated. I mean, they are a bit old, but thick enough. Should be investigated. Should be investigated about that. Then we have the view from the French balcony door. Roman balcony, sorry. Okay, then we have the hall here. Obviously, can be redecorated, repainted, you know. Here on the bottom of this hall, we see the ladder that has been used to access the attic floor. Here we are in the master bedroom. Overall, good condition. I'd say this property is not really in need of a big, massive renovation. Can be just upgraded in a nice way. I wouldn't change the floor tiles. I will polish, I will try to do the best to give kind of new life to this type of old tiles. Anyway, decent sized bedroom. This is the master bedroom. Obviously, the vaulted ceiling here looks like needs to be repainted, recoated painting, or replastered in some parts, but overall the structure of the property is good. Okay, this is what they call ante-room, pre-bathroom, I'd say. So I guess here we have a bathroom and here we have a window anyway in this room. Can be used, I don't know, as a pre-bathroom, simply. That's what I would use for. Okay, one, I'd say maybe should be investigated better, the window frames. Anyway, that's not really an expensive job. Then, okay, here we are in the pre-bathroom, and then here we have the bathroom. Bathroom, again, a bit outdated. We see old pieces. Here we are talking about early 70s style, early 70s. Even if I see it went through some kind of works because the radiator are newer radiators, so the heating system has been replaced much more after than the bathroom was built. Also, the flush in this type of toilets, the flush was highly the the tank for the flush of the toilet generally you see in many houses is in a high, quite at the ceiling level. Anyway, a bit outdated bathroom. This obviously spacious. I have to say spacious. Floor tiles, nothing special. The tiles on the wall, but anyway, I won't see it as a very, very expensive job to remake this bathroom. Then initially can be kept like this. Anyway, here we have both shower box and also bath tube, but anyway, is in need of renovation, I'd say so. Okay, here we have another view of the landing area on the first floor, and this is the master bedroom. Then the stairs going down, so where we have the bathroom door, and then we have on the left the main entrance door. Again, space in the courtyard. Interesting, interesting space. Nice and cozy. Uh, could be, for example, with some plants, could be created a tiny bit more privacy here. Spacious enough. All right, the roof also looks in a good condition. By the gutters here, I see maybe might need to repaint the facade, but overall, anyway, has been a house that hasn't been used, I'd say, at least for the last 10, 15 years. We have this anyway shelter before the entrance, this little roof here on the ground floor. Interesting property. Let me know below in the comment section, my friends, what do you think about this property? 60,000 euro, 163 square meters. That means that each floor is around, let's say, 80 square meters, maybe a bit less, 75 square meters, between 75 and 80 square meters per each floor. I'd say two bathrooms, two bedrooms, huge living area, kitchen, habitable kitchen. Anyway, not far from the sea. And now let's go here on Google Maps to understand. Before we do the Google Street View, let's understand the distances from, okay, for example, here we have a post office in this small hamlet, let's say. But let's start to see how far we are from Lanciano. So from the property for sale to Lanciano, it takes only 9 minutes, 8, 9 minutes. So we are very, very close to Lanciano, very short distance. Then, anyway, my friends, we see by transport, we reach in 21 minutes, short distance as well by transport. Let's check to Pescara, how far we are from Pescara town. Okay, by transport, 1 hour and 34 minutes. By car, we can reach the property in 44 minutes. All right. Then let's see, for example, Vasto. Vasto, how far we are from Vasto. 37 minutes driving from to Vasto. So it's not really a big distance. Okay, let's zoom out a bit more to understand. Then, for example, I haven't checked if we want to go to the seaside. Let's see which one is the nearest seaside destination. Okay, we have Fossa Cesia, which is another decent sized town. Actually, very, very interesting. Fossa Cesia Marina, I'd say that's the nearest seaside destination. Fossa Cesia Marina. Let's see. So to reach the seaside takes only 16 minutes. All right, my friends. So after this, we can also have a look from Rome, okay, which is, let's say, the capital and um, let's say the biggest nearest town after, let's say, other towns here in Abruzzo, Marche, and Molise region, but obviously Rome is the biggest town in the center of Italy. By transport, let's just investigate how long it takes by transport. 4 hours and 12 minutes, but this is to reach the property, to reach, for example, from Rome. So we have Triburtina station where we take a bus. We arrive to Pescara terminal bus. From Pescara terminal bus, we have the bus that goes in from Pescara to Castiglione e Messer Marino. It's 25 minutes. So there are 3 buses from Lanciano, but this is to reach, anyway, the property. Let's say, because here, once we reach Lanciano, let's say, then we can take a taxi or someone who is doing kind of Uber service, even if in Italy we don't have Uber, but there are always people who do this type of private services. Okay, now finally, let's go back here to Google Street View to understand a bit better the area. Anyway, we already saw in the beginning of the video the property from Google Street View. Anyway, as we see, we are in a very, very short distance to Lanciano, where we have all type of services that we might need. Okay, Scorciosa. Let's see. Okay, so this is the property here. This one in the corner. It's okay. So basically here we have the 2 windows of the bedrooms with the balcony. And here we have the bathroom. The pre-bathroom is the window on the first floor on the left. Second window is the bathroom. Maybe here, if I should make a bathroom here, I would go for a very big bathroom, maybe with also jacuzzi, something like this. Anyway, 60,000 euro prices. I recommend you, my friend, always, always negotiable. Always go for negotiable. Okay, this is the area that they're selling beside. Okay, with garage and 45 square meters on 2 floors for another 60,000, which I wouldn't go, to be honest. Anyway, so this is the area. Nice area, again, close to Lanciano. We also have lovely houses in the area, big houses. Okay, my friends, so I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I'll see you here on Italy, a Place to Love YouTube channel for another property for sale tomorrow here. Bye!